We're going to start with our first speaker, which is Vincent De Leijster. He is currently working in the Grupo de Pastos. Vincent, cuando quieras.
Hello, good morning. First I'm going to put over this information. Yes, my name is Vincent De Leijster and I'm actually working at Utrecht University in the Netherlands. But I'm working on a project which is located here in the province of Granada. And this project is called Al and I'm collaborating for this project with one of the groups of this institute, the group of Spatial and Superficial Systems. And together we're working on a project to restore and rehabilitate ecosystem services in agricultural systems, and in this case in the almond systems. First I will tell you a little bit about the problem. The biggest problem in this region is actually the land degradation. And this land degradation comes in different forms, in desertification, in loss of soil fertility and loss of biodiversity. But in our case we're actually looking at it where the source is, the unsustainable land management practices, how they result in land degradation, and in this case actually how they result in a loss of ecosystem services. This is a bit abstract, so I will give you one example that doesn't really go well, actually, I see. But you see on the left, on the picture on the left, it's an almond system which is very frequently tilled. I don't know if you can see it very well, but the soil is very loose, and it's one result of the frequent tillage. But another result is actually that there's no vegetation cover at all year round. So the ecosystem service which is provided normally by the vegetation cover is erosion control. And because that ecosystem service is not present, you can see it on the right picture, you have a lot of erosion and a lot of fertile soils actually being lost. So what we actually try to do in this case is, are there possibilities to change the management and to change it from an unsustainable management practice to sustainable management practice, which results in an increase in ecosystem services instead of a decrease. Therefore, we actually have a hypothesis that polycultural systems, that they are very effective in doing this, that they come with a lot of environmental and economic performances which are beneficial for the farmer as well for the environment. So that's resulting in our question: does the transition towards polycultural systems or crop diversification, does it lead to maximize both environmental and economic performance in the dryland root crop systems, in this case in the almonds? So therefore we made an experimental design which doesn't only cover the polycultural systems, because we want to know if it's really the most optimal way of management. So therefore we're also comparing it with different kind of management strategies. So what you see here is, first of all, above you see the conventional system, which is the tilled system, how it's done at the moment. It's a monocultural system. And then we're comparing it with a polycultural system. And in this case it's two different treatments. The first one is green manure strips, which can also form fodder vegetation for livestock. And the second one is intercropping with aromatics. We compare these two systems with adding soil amendments, so in this case compost or manure, because these are also innovative practices in the region. Right now there's not any, normally there's not any form of fertilizer being used. And the last one is the tillage management, where we look at an adaptation in the tillage management. So then we have a treatment where we stop the tillage. And it's not only the effect of stopping the tillage in this case, but due to the fact that you stop the tillage, then you also give the possibility of natural vegetation to grow on the ground actually. So that's also another change. Now, how are we monitoring all these different treatments? As I said before, we're looking at ecosystem services. So there are actually 5 ecosystem services that we selected, and we were looking at it through this sort of theoretical scheme. As I told you before, the management is changing with the treatments I explained before. And then we expect the management to have an influence on the ecosystem service providers. I will explain this due to with the first example. So in this case, an ecosystem provider can be pollinators, it can be bees. And these bees, they can provide an the ecosystem service itself, which is pollination. And you can see the result of this pollination in the performance of the ecosystem service, which is in this case a fruit set ratio. So how many flowers are turning into almond fruits in this case. So we would like to address this full ecological mechanism of ecosystem services for 5 ecosystem services: the pollination, the decomposition, the habitat provisioning, the carbon sequestration, and the water infiltration. And next to that, we're also looking at the profitability of the farm, so including the almond production and the production of additional commodities. I will show you some preliminary results of 2016. In this year, we actually only did a pilot study on the production. So what you see on the left, before the green dotted line starts, you see 2 replicas of no-tillage versus normal management, regular management. And there we had one pilot study where we didn't find any significant results in the production between the 2, and the other ones we did find that no-tillage reduced production. Next, for compost using, we saw that using compost increased the production a little bit, but it was, however, not significant yet. And for the last pilot research, we did a research on the green manure, or added vegetation, seeded vegetation, and there we also found a very big difference actually in increasing productivity, a difference which is very high and surprises us as well. So that's also why we need to continue this research for the coming years, and we also expanding this research to over 8 farms for the next couple 2-3 years. So thanks for your attention.
Si tenéis alguna pregunta, tenemos tiempo para...
Thank you very much for your presentation. It is important for us to know why foreign researchers come to our institute. In your case, why you decide to come here to the experimental meeting and to Dr. Rebollar group?
That's a very nice question. So we're working together, we're collaborating in this group, in this part, and I'm collaborating with Anna Benina and Maria Eugenia, and they have already a very good expertise actually on this topic, because they've worked together on a project in which is focusing on the grazing in almond systems. So the expertise that they have is very supplementary to my project. And now we're expanding. I'm expanding that actually by looking more in the ecosystem services in a broad way, but also different options as than only livestock. But the expertise that is here is very very welcome for my project. Yeah. Thank you.